Coach, good morning. How are you?
Doing well, guys. Good morning.
Good. Thanks for joining us as always. The 8-1 loss to the Rangers was terrible. You know that, obviously. Just want to touch on it for 1 second about one of the decisions you had to make in that game. I saw a backlash for your decision to play Chucky in net at New York, but I completely understood the move from your perspective that LT had appeared in 10 straight games. This was the second of a back-to-back for your team. You saw an opportunity to get him some rest, and you made the call. Was it something that you were conflicted with, or was that a pretty easy decision for you to make?
No, those are never easy decisions. I mean, we take each goalie start, we talk about it, we consult with the coaching staff, Chris Patrick, on most of those lineup and roster decisions. Normally, on any back-to-back, it's usually one guy's playing one of each. This circumstance is unique, right? Because now you have to win, so it brings in the potential of playing a guy in back-to-back nights, which is not the norm, and so that's where you consider playing Logan in that spot. Now, just with us weighing as much as LT had played and the workload that he had, and we just felt like it was putting Logan in a really tough spot to play that back-to-back from a fatigue standpoint, travel with the amount of workload that he had. And look, like whether LT was in the net or Chucky was in the net, we didn't play well enough as a team to win that hockey game. So I don't care who was in net. I don't think that that's changing an 8-1 outcome.
Can you tell before a game, Coach, that hey, we're just not ready to play today? I just got that vibe.
And warm up.
I mean, based on I don't know, just like energy in the locker room and they're getting dressed. Can you tell?
So sometimes you get some feelings before on how the group, and sometimes it's accurate and sometimes it's completely off. Like I've gone into some games and gone, geez, we feel off, energy levels are low, and then we come out in the game and we're like world beaters, and you're like, okay, wow. That's so you do get feelings, and sometimes it's just you don't have a feeling either way. I didn't feel like the New York game I felt like we were okay in the morning, felt like the meetings went well, felt like our energy levels were good. The seriousness and the focus that our group had, I didn't feel either way like we were, didn't feel like, this is trouble. I sense that our group is a little bit off kilter, and our start was fine, the first period, and I know we give up the goal in the first shift of the game, but we get that game back tied at 1, get to the intermission. We didn't, like it was 1-1, but you could tell there were some things off with our group in that first period, so you're just trying to kickstart them and hopefully, all right, now we're ready to go, we've got our legs, our execution's going to be on, and it just never was able to come in the second and third period.
So if there's one small silver lining takeaway from that game is that Lappy got into his first scrap at any level in that loss to the Rangers when he tangled with Noah Laba, who's definitely bigger than LaPierre. But Lappy gave him the business. 82% of the voters on hockeyfights.com gave him the W in that matchup. So good for him. Kind of an unorthodox style where he didn't even like really grab his jersey. He was just punching at his helmet. But he acquitted himself rather well, I thought.
Yeah, he's been. It's one area of his game that he's tried to increase this year is his competitiveness and playing with a little bit of an edge. So it was good to see.
So, Coach, has it crept into your brain that these could be the last 4 games potentially that you coach Alex Ovechkin in his legendary career if he decides that he wants to call it quits? We know that he's been very tight-lipped about it. He hasn't spoken about it, hasn't really addressed it. But is it starting to work its way into your head? Like, man, this could be the end if Alex decides to retire at the end of the season.
Yeah, there's no way to not think about that if he chooses that this is his last year. So I've thought about it a little bit of, coming down the stretch here in these final regular season games. We're trying to push to stay in this playoff fight, but I'm trying to make sure that I take a step back and really, that this is a legend. This is one of the greatest athletes to ever play our sport and sports in general, and the greatest goal scorer in the history of the game, of how long the NHL's been around. So to be able to take a step back and enjoy that, and really soak up being able to coach Alex Ovechkin, I'm trying to do that.
Can you give us, the fans, just a little insight, maybe an anecdote or two of what it's been like to coach him, maybe what's impressed you? I know you come in, you just know he's a legend, but is there an anecdote or a story or something that you see every day or something that jumps out at you that you can share with us about his preparation, about his love for the game, about how he interacts with his teammates and the employees, anything like that?
I think you guys have heard a lot of the stories and him and his preparation and the subway and mm-hmm. how much he loves his teammates and how much he has such an enjoyable time when he arrives at the rink and loves being with the guys and loves he has a smile and he's cracking jokes and he's constantly just enjoying his time with his teammates and enjoying his time at the rink. It's just never a dull, negative, down Alex Ovechkin at the rink. It never has been in my 3 years here, and I'm assuming it's never been like that for 20 years. And so that's one of the things, just his overall personality and his presence and his enjoyment of the everyday grind of the NHL. And then the other thing that I would say, just when it comes to the on ice, it's just how he's able to score goals. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. You can't even explain it. You can't wrap your head around it. At his age, and he's done it every single year, his entire career. He'll go, 8-9 games without a goal or whatever. They'll go through a stretch, and you're like, oh, this is, and then all of a sudden, the puck will just find him, and he will go on a rip, and it'll be a hat trick, and then 2 the next night, and then 1, and then 1, and then 1. And it's how did this happen? The puck keeps finding him, and he keeps shooting it in the back of the net. It's unbelievable. Guys struggle to get 10 goals in this league, and he just rips off 30 like it's no problem.
Yeah. If I gave you truth serum, and I think it's a fair question, would you have, and asked you at the beginning of the season, hey, can you write down, how many goals do you think Ovi's going to have this year? At 41 or whatever the hell age
40.
He is. 40. Honestly, what number would you think reasonably did you expect?
Honestly, that question right there is exactly what I'm trying to get at. Is you've been not proven wrong, but he's done the unthinkable so many times over and over and over and over again in his career that when you try to go, what's realistic for Alex Ovechkin at 40? You're like, okay, say it was 25. You're like, 25 is a reasonable. Then you go like this. You go, well, you know what? He probably is going to find a way to get 30 or 40 because that's what he's done his whole life.
Right.
So
you will always take the over.
Yeah, take the over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Coach, I'm not asking you to tell me anything that, I understand whatever you know, you're not going to tell us. But if you don't know, would you expect Ovi on Sunday, if it's his last home game, to kind of make the announcement before the game and say, all right, and just wave to the crowd? Or do you think it's possible that he doesn't even know what his decision is going to be, and he might wait until after the season?
Yeah, I honestly, I couldn't tell you. We've we've left it completely in his hands with how he wants to handle it, and
right.
The timing of it and all that stuff and he said it all along, is he's going to take some time, and it's not going to be a rush decision. He wants to take his time and talk to his family, and so I wouldn't expect, what he said all along and what he's told me and what he's told everyone is he's going to take some time to make his decision.
So he might not know. Yeah, he probably doesn't even know what his decision is going to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
We're joined by Spencer Carbery, Caps head coach, brought to you by the Centers for Advanced Orthopedics. All right, let's pivot to some of your younger players. Cole Hudson has been awesome since his call-up. 7 points through his first 10 NHL games. He's so fun to watch. His offensive skill set jumps out at you. Have you been surprised by his quick assimilation, or is this kind of what you were expecting from him when he got the call-up?
No, it's surprising that he's been able to do what he's done offensively thus far. Usually you don't see this from someone coming out of college and being able to do the things that he's done in his first handful of games here. So that has been a real bright spot to see the potential there this early on and what it can grow to become and what type of defenseman he can develop into. And so that's been phenomenal to see. And even some of the defensive stuff, he's already starting to integrate into his game and build some corrections and getting a feel for the league and what he's going to have to do defensively as an undersized guy. You're already seeing little incremental improvements in that, which is really, really impressive.
How do you think he slipped to pick 43 of the 2024 draft? Is it the same deal with his brother Lane, who was picked 62nd in his draft class, and he was way underdrafted? Were teams just scared off by drafting a smaller defenseman with a super high pick? Is that what is the culprit?
Yeah, and I think Lane hadn't really popped off yet when Cole's draft came up, so no one saw Lane doing what he's doing, winning the Calder, the season he had last year. So that if Lane has that year 1 year earlier, I'm sure Cole goes in the first round because they're looking at the bloodlines, they're looking at the brother's success, but he hadn't done that yet. So once they see Lane and now Cole's at BU, everybody's just kicking themselves like, geez, we didn't see Lane becoming this great of a defenseman this early on. And so, yeah, we're very fortunate to have him in the organization, and he's off to a good start.
So tonight you're bringing up Lil Pro. Ilya gets the call to play with his big brother. He gets a call up from Hershey. So both pros and Tom Wilson look like they're going to skate on the same line. All three guys, 6'4" or taller. Is this the biggest line in NHL history that you're going to roll out tonight against the Maple Leafs? They're not going to know what hit them.
I got to think it's up there because there's a lot of beef on that line. There's some big boys. So I'm excited for Pro. We're calling him Pro and Big Pro.
Okay. All right.
Okay, we're removing the Lil because that's on the bench can be a handful, and so it's Pro and Big Pro. But it's a great, he's had such a phenomenal rookie year in Hershey and played so well, so consistent all year, and to get this opportunity in Toronto, which is a great place to play your first NHL game alongside his brother and Willie. It's going to be a great night.
How familiar are the guys on the team with his game? Like he was with you in camp a lot, so those guys kind of get it. They know who he is and what he does.
Yeah, definitely. And they also so I'll share something. Big Pro, he is very, very hands-on in his brother's development and game. So he watches his game constantly and is sharing with the boys in the locker room or on the bus or showing highlights. So the guys are very in tune with, Ilya and what he's done down there and watching highlights.
Gotcha.
I saw that Willie basically said if he's passing to either one of them, he just has a hard time telling them apart because they're both so big and they look so much alike, right?
Big time. Absolutely they do. And they move very similar to on the ice as well.
So the youth movement for this team is obvious. When Protas takes the ice tonight, the Caps are going to be the first team to have two players picked beyond the first round from the 2024 draft, with Pro, not Lil Pro taken in the third round, and Cole Hudson in the second round of that draft. So you see that youth movement. It's working here for the Caps, getting the young guys on the ice and getting them this late season experience that is so critical to their development.
Yeah, you're starting to see the sort of next phase of the organization and our team as we get younger, and now the torch is sort of being passed from the previous sort of era of Caps hockey, and it's good to see. I mean, you're reflecting on the 2018 and and Backy and all the success over the last years and the era, and now you get to see a glimpse of the future. And with the great young players that the organization has coming up, it's sort of the passing of the torch you're starting to see, and it's good to see these young guys getting an opportunity.
Coach, I know you got games to prep for, especially the big one on Sunday, but will you watch any of the Masters this weekend?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, good.
Absolutely.
Nice. Good.
Can you guys give me any tips on who's your picks?
Oh, these guys can tell you. They can talk. Do you have 2 hours?
Bet against me. Bet against me. I took Xander and Oberg in my pool. So bet against those guys.
I don't know, man. A lot of people are actually shockingly picking Rahm.
Yeah, some people like
John
Rahm
being on
too.
Live, you don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but Ludwig has been playing very well.
His putting's a little bit dicey sometimes, but he's been playing really well. So.
And Sandin, so Rasmus is a fellow Swede, and he was giving me the lowdown. He just struggles to close on Sunday, right?
Yes. He's always in the mix of late, it seems like.
So.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Meanwhile, nobody's mentioned Scotty Scheffler, the best player in the world.
Yeah.
Snoozing on him.
Jeez.
I know.
All right, well, Coach Carbs, this is your last appearance of the season. We just want to thank you for all the time that you spent with us. You've been a great guest, as always, like you were last season, this season as well, and hopefully we can run this back again in the 26-27 campaign.
Let's do it again, Coach.
Absolutely. I appreciate chatting with you guys. Always love coming on. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you very much.
Spencer Carbery, Washington Capitals head coach, brought to you by the Centers for Advanced Orthopedics. More physicians, more locations, more advanced care centered around one thing. You visit CFAortho.com for more details. When we come back, we'll get into the Commanders. Peter Schrager has got a Commanders draft prediction, and we will give that to you next.